Hi everyone, I'm Mike Green, Public Information Officer in the Allen County Commissioner's Office, and welcome to this edition of CountyLine. Well, 2018 has been another billion-dollar year for Allen County. That's right, for the second consecutive year, construction investment in Allen County has exceeded $1 billion. Last year was the first time the county had reached the $1 billion plateau. Details on this latest accomplishment were recently shared by the Allen County Commissioners.
Thank you for taking the time to be here today. On November 26th, 2017, we hit $1 billion of development for the first time in the history of Allen County. We wouldn't have done that without so many people in this community, but our building commissioner, John Kaywood, and the Hellers, Mark and Harrison, and the Therese Brown has played such a critical role in the growth of this community. Rob Young from Hagerman. We have just done fantastic things in this community with the help of people like Kate Love Jacobson and Rich Beck from the Redevelopment Commission. Now, we've got him standing here, and I'd be lying to you if I told you that city redevelopment hasn't been a partner in the development of what's happened in this community. We've got John Urbans from Greater Fort Wayne here today. Now, probably not everybody will speak, but these are folks that are representative of the good things that are happening in this community. So I mentioned on November 26, 2017, we hit the $1 billion mark. On November 21st of this year, 5 days earlier than last year, we hit the $1 billion mark for the second time in a row, which is really, really a great feat for this community and shows the momentum that's built, shows the great things that are happening in the Allen County community. We're not quite where we were at last year's end, but as you can see, by the end of this year, it looks like we're going to end up beating 2017 altogether. Total permits this year were 25,320 compared to total permits last year. Nope, I did have that right. We're 25,320 at the end of November compared to 26,185 in all of 2017. Yeah, there you go. So take a look at these numbers, and I think they are very, very telling. We've continued to increase the total number every year, and I suspect by the time we finish 2018, you're going to see the same thing. Commercial permits. We're almost $587 million right now compared to $632.9 million for all of 2017. We're already at 6,339 permits through November compared to 6,253 permits for all of 2017. Now, as we begin to look at the residential side, we're at $424.8 million right now compared to $399.1 million in home construction values for all of 2017. We don't have quite as many permits this year yet at 18,891 on the residential side as we did through November as we did in 2017 with a number of 19,898. Where's the development happening? Well, it's happening on the commercial side in places like Fort Wayne Community Schools, East Allen County Schools, Lutheran Hospital, Lincoln Financial, just to name a few. And on the residential side, we continue to rival what's going on in the commercial side with a total dollar value of permits through things like Aslan Passage, Whisper Rock, Magnolia Meadows, Fox Hollow, and Greyhawk. Why is this happening? Well, let me have John Kaywood just talk for a second or two about what he sees as some of the reasons as to why this is happening. John?
Good morning. I'm John Kaywood, Allen County Building Commissioner. Last month, some of my constituents in the building department and I went down to Purdue University to meet with many other building commissioners from different counties within the state. And as I spoke to them, I talked to somebody in a northern county, and he said, hey, how do you resolve this problem? And as we talked through this problem, I revealed that we had almost 25,000 to 26,000 permits in a year. He said, my goodness, how do you do that? And I responded, you know, it's a challenge. However, we use a lot of technology. So one way we can accomplish this is from that symposium we went to, Allen County is one of the leaders in using technology along with permitting, and that started here in this community back in 2009 with all the departments who do permitting going on the same platform. I'm grateful to the county commissioners because they realize that development doesn't happen without the right resources, and they've given me technological resources yet this year, along with additional people to help make the inspections and the permitting happen. Now, that's on the government side, but on the, you can't do this without working with good contractors and good developers. And here to the left are just an example of a few of many contractors here in Allen County who understand the need for this technology and this innovation, are willing to work with me. Many calls I make to the Harrison family with Harrison Homes, and Hagerman is a good example, willing to work with us as we try and test new innovations, online permitting, those kind of things. So we have a very willing contractor base here who embraces this, and you can see that, and that's why we're hitting this $1 billion mark 2 years in a row.
Thanks, John. Just look at some of what's going on with some of the innovations technologically that have happened internally. You know, we're looking at online permits compared to 11,455 that were done at this time last year. We're now looking at a whole bunch more, as you can see. Right this year, we've got 49% of the permits that are now coming in online compared to the 45% that were coming in online last year. That is just a huge, huge difference. The number of permits online has increased each year from 2013 until now. And we expect with some of the technological innovations that continue to occur in Allen County that we will see that. Our goal ultimately is to make this a virtual process where people are coming to the table and doing all of their permits online. Whether we get there will depend on some of the innovations that are created. Will really be contingent upon our ability to create that environment for the public and sort of market it to them. We are looking at a few things right now that may provide some incentives for people to do a little bit more as time goes on. So stay tuned, and hopefully by this time next year, we'll come back to you and we'll tell you that we've had our third $1 billion year in a row and that we've got some new incentives that have helped to cause that. I think it's important that we look not only at the current development, but we look at the future development as well. As you've seen with the slides up here, the residential portion is just such a huge part of what's happening in the Allen County community. I think as you'll look at the slide deck, you'll note that residential development has rivaled commercial development in Allen County. And so a lot of that is, you know, great thanks to the developers, to the home builders, and to the people that are creating the beds for people to sleep in daily. And today we've got Mark Heller and Harrison Heller from Heller Homes Incorporated. And I'd like Harrison spend a couple minutes with us and just talk a little bit about you know, where we've been and where he sees us going from a future residential perspective.
Thank you. My name's Harrison Heller, one of the owners with Mark Heller, my father here. We're one of the leading new home construction companies here in Fort Wayne. Heller Homes, along with many of the other builders here in Fort Wayne, have seen steady growth not only for this year, but the last 5 years. I think I can speak for a lot of the builders here in Fort Wayne when I say that a lot of the success has come, especially in this new construction industry, from a lot of the improvements that have been made to streamline the experience at the building department. Between faster inspection times, flexibility with on-site meetings if there are any issues that need to be resolved, have helped keep any of the jobs moving much smoother, and we have John Kaywood to thank for that. Outside of new construction or new homes, land development has played a vital role in reaching that $1 billion amount. Without lots to build on, there are no homes for us to build. We as a smaller developer really rely on the governing agencies and the commissioners to work in conjunction with one another to find solutions to problems in order to get plans approved. Through streamlined programs such as the planning department's new project meetings, we're able to get all the parties in one room, getting their heads together, trying to come to a common goal. In 2018, we were having a hard time keeping up with a lot of the demand here in Fort Wayne, and moving forward in 2019, we already have more commitments at this point than we did 2017 going into 2018. So I don't see any of that changing as far as the production and reaching that $1 billion amount even sooner than we did this year. All in all, this is a group project, and everybody plays a pretty vital role in it, with the governing agencies and the commissioners working together towards that common goal. Everybody's winning here. With all the positive changes in Fort Wayne, it makes me proud to say I live in Fort Wayne.
I just want to say Heller Homes loves working in the city, and the city's been very good to us, and we do appreciate the commissioners and the building department and all the government officials for making it a lot easier to do our job.
Thanks, gentlemen, and we appreciate you creating those beds for people to sleep in this community. And what it is to bring people to this community is the cranes that you see in the air, the big buildings that are going up, the commercial, the industrial developments that happen within the Allen County area. And here to talk a little bit about, in much the same vein as the housing, to what's happened, how have we gotten here, and maybe a perspective on 2019 and beyond, is Rob Young from Hagerman Construction.
Well, commissioners, Commissioner-elect, Building Commissioner Kaywood, thanks for the opportunity to share a few words today. And as Nelson said, much like what you just heard from Harrison and Mark, similar story on the commercial side of things. I'm Rob Young, VP of Business Development with the Hagerman Group, and here to share some comments both from Hagerman and certainly from our fellow commercial contractors. 2018, you saw the numbers up on the screen, but 2018 for us, quite candidly, is one of our best years in the past 2 decades. As we look through our records to get ready for this morning's news conference, that really came through to us loud and clear. And in 18, we've been fortunate enough to have great projects in all 5 of the vertical markets that we focus on at Hagerman, those being education, healthcare, corporate, industrial, and institutional. Again, it's nice to see the slides that Nelson, that you put together, because they really do reinforce the facts and figures that we're sharing this morning. Also, the good news is, based on what we know today, 2019 is shaping up to be another good year for us at Hagerman, and I certainly suspect with our friendly competitors across the region. Even more good news, the industry experts and analysts that we rely on to do some future planning show that kind of activity continuing at least until mid-2020. So 19 looks good, 2020 should be a good year as well for us. And as Harrison said pretty eloquently, a lot of our success here at home in Allen County has to do with the regulators, the permitters, the planners that we work with on a daily basis. And certainly John and his team have done a great job on the permitting and inspection side. But it really does start, as Harrison said, with the pre-project meetings or the project meetings. It is great to be able to get together with Michelle Wood, Chris Beebe, and the entire team and walk through projects that are on the drawing board to make sure we're focused in the right areas. We're not wasting our time or their time when it comes to the actual applications and permitting and then the subsequent building. So it is a great, great process that we have here in Allen County, much improved over the past 5 years or so. I've been in this community in various development aspects since the year 2000, and absolutely, is it a better situation today than it was then? You bet. So very happy to be able to share some good news this morning, and quite honestly, I hope to be back here next year with another message just like this one. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate all you guys do to move this community forward. You know, we've got to take sort of an introspective look often at how we in county government and city government can help foster an environment where we can get the developers and the home builders to come to the table and to help move this community forward. And a lot of times we look to our redevelopment commissions to help us sort of find our way. And again, to provide a perspective on where we've been and perhaps what the coming year looks like, I'd like to invite the commission's president, Rich Beck, and Commissioner-elect Rich Beck to the podium.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioner Peters. Just a quick perspective on this. Back in 2009 is when we really started the land banking initiative here in Allen County, and that became a catalyst for much of what's taking place today. In 3 specific areas in the county, we started acquiring property. The Bluffton Road sector, where we have today we have XPO, Trinity Healthcare, we have General Mills, and we have Walmart milk processing plant there. These are 3 projects that were taken on by the Redevelopment Commission. The next sector would be General Motors and Vera Bradley corridor, where we have Stonebridge Business Park. We currently have 2 Tier 1 suppliers to General Motors in that park. The private sector has come in with Stonebridge 2, and there's talk of Stonebridge 3. And we really want to act as a catalyst in these areas. We're not in the development business. We don't want to be, but we need to be the initiator of what's moving forward. We move in, we'll buy the land, we'll upgrade it with the infrastructure, and then we'll sell it to the businesses or developers for their development. The third one is Ryan Road, where you find SDI and Lafarga. And this is currently an ongoing thriving area. We don't have any more property up there to sell, but we do have in other locations. We are constantly looking for strategic opportunities to acquire additional property. We take our due diligence very seriously. We take our spending of taxpayer money very seriously. And we're not in this to make money, but we're in this to create an environment where the private sector will bring those jobs here to the community. Another initiative is the spec buildings. We've created a matrix for incentives on the spec buildings. We're currently working with Michael Kinder and Sons on a property near Stonebridge and General Motors, and we've got real creative in how we're able to function and help them put that together. I think that's important that we take into consideration that there's different ways to do things, and the county's very receptive to doing that. We are looking for other spec building opportunities, either on our land or other land. It doesn't matter. We embrace that. We currently have 80 acres left of the several hundred acres to sell. We have 60 acres roughly in Stonebridge and 20 acres along the Bluffton Road corridor. And we, again, as I mentioned, are looking for the strategic opportunities. Just a quick review of some of the 2018 projects on the commercial side. A $20 million investment in a 192,000 square foot refrigerator warehouse for North American Cold Storage, approved in May by the Woodburn Common Council. Master Spas announced that they would make a $7.8 million investment in the rehabilitation of an existing 166,000 square foot facility to grow their campus on Lincoln Parkway. Concrete Plant Properties, Primco, will be investing $1.6 million in the construction of a new 16,000 square foot operation off of Lower Huntington Road. Startup company Northern Indiana Anodizing is making a $2 million investment in the construction of a 47,000 square foot facility on Bluffton Road across from the Walmart and General Mills facilities. And lastly, Sweetwater Sound, you recall, will be breaking ground next year on an $82 million investment, over $68 million in real property and improvements, of which almost $24 million will occur in unincorporated Allen County. A 350,000 square foot warehouse and a 35,000 square foot conference center will be built. You can see, as Rob mentioned, there's a tremendous amount of momentum taking place in Allen County today, and our objective is to continue with that momentum as we move into 2019. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. A lot of great things going on. And, you know, as I said at the outset, a lot of people involved, a lot of moving parts to move a community forward on an economic development front. And more often than not, we look to Greater Fort Wayne Incorporated to help provide for some of that economic development steerage, both the city and the county. With that, I'd like to bring John Urbans to the microphone again to talk a little bit about what he's seen from a 2018 perspective, and then pull out his crystal ball and talk a little bit about 2019.
Thanks, Commissioner. Growing the economy is vitally important to the community. That's what we are all about at Greater Fort Wayne, Inc. And it's about pulling together the partners at the county, the building department, planning services, New Haven, Woodburn, all the partners together to push things forward. If you look at this year, it's a great year. You know, second year at $1 billion. But look at the last 4 years and where we've been as a community. Rich talked about a number of projects that are being completed. About $2.5 billion worth of projects have been undertaken in the last 4 years. That translates into about 6,000 new job opportunities within our community and just under $300 million in new annual payroll that's here now every year paying taxes and helping move us forward. I think if you think about it, process and product are two key things that we need to focus on in economic development. The county's been very upfront and forward-thinking with some of the product discussions. As Rich talked about, the land at Stonebridge and on Bluffton Road, Airport Expressway, what they've done to pull together product so that we can actually compete for and win projects. A lot of those projects we would not have won if we did not have the land ready to go and to move forward. The other piece is process, and we've spent a lot of time talking about process here. Dating back, I worked with Commissioner Peters very closely in 2007 on the merger of the land use departments. When we merged the city and county land use functions together. That has helped put together a process that's much more transparent, much more easy to go through to get to the building department stage. And think about the comprehensive plan that we did jointly with the city and the county back in the mid-2000s. Those things all lay the groundwork in order for us to have the type of development we're having last year, this year, and I believe next year will be another banner year. When you look at the pipeline that we're working on with our partners, we see a lot of growth continuing into 2019, and my hope is that next year we're talking about another $1 billion in the community.
Thanks, John. Rich Beck mentioned that, you know, we're not the ones creating the jobs, and we're not the ones creating the jobs. But what we are trying to do is assist in creating an environment that will foster the growth and foster private sector entities to come to the table and to want to invest in our community. And we put a lot of thought behind that initiative in the Commissioner's office. And I'd like to think that we have developed the groundwork and laid a pretty good foundation for helping to do some of that. And I'd like to invite Commissioner Treese Brown to the podium to talk a little bit about that, where we've been, and again, what her perspective for the time to come may be. Commissioner?
Thank you, Commissioner Peters. You know, it's great to be at the end of a program. Everybody knows this is probably the wrap-up, but that said, it's really actually the beginning. I think what has been stated by the Heller family, Rich Beck with redevelopment, Rob Young with Hagerman, and John Urbans from Greater Fort Wayne is that this has been a process. It has been an adventure, to say bar none, in that working together and to throw it out there, it's a community, it's a village, it's all of us working together and laying, as Commissioner Peters has said, the groundwork and the foundation to create an environment that gives individuals the sense that we are moving and shaking, not just in Allen County and Fort Wayne, but within the region. And I don't want this to seem like it's a kind of like, well, this is it, and I think everyone has kind of said that. It was a heck of a milestone last year to hit 1 billion. This year, to hit it 2 years in a row is astounding. To know that we are on the verge of potentially not only a year equal to, but probably, in my opinion, the way things are going, greater than this year, is phenomenal. And I think the partnerships that have been created by the individuals and the institutions and the communities that they represent, the functions that they represent, is important to recognize here. I think it's also a situation where you need to recognize that all of the partnerships that have been created over a period of time, the trust that has been built, and the camaraderie of fair conversation, that we are all in this together, that we are trying to make this a community that is the place to be, is awesome and astounding. And I honestly want to thank every one of you personally for all that you have done for our community and what you will continue to do for our community in every avenue that you represent. So at this juncture, I think Commissioner Peters is yielding the floor to me that this concludes our press conference. If there is anything or any questions that you may have of any of us, we are here to answer any of them. Thank you for being here. And again, another milestone year, and we look forward to another. Thank you.
And that will do it for this edition of County Line. I'm Mike Green, Public Information Officer in the Allen County Commissioner's Office. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time on County Line.
I would like to talk to you today about the effectiveness of the Allen County Jail Chaplaincy Ministry. I've had the opportunity to view the ministry from 3 different perspectives. As an inmate, I was ministered to by men like Gene Detmer, Al Fetterspill, and Sean Carroll, and others who helped me get the Word of God that changed my life forever. I met Jesus in a life-changing way. He came alive on the inside of me. As a chaplain of the jail, I had the opportunity to work with men like Joe Mann, John Alexander, and Dick Severs. These men shared their lives with me and my wife like we were family. As a member of the board, I had the opportunity to be the best benefactor that I could be. I served with men like Dave Clendenin, Tim Detmer, and others behind the scenes to support the people who are on the front lines. I understand the privilege of supporting and protecting leaders while they help others come to a saving knowledge of who Jesus Christ.
When we have inmates that come into the jail, we have over 9,000 a year that come through here. There's a lot of different things that go on with them. The first thing that they experience is fear in their lives, because all of a sudden they've lost control of what they're able to do, decisions they can make. And so one of the things that we're able to do is to try and minister to them and bring some peace and calmness to them, some reassurance that they're not alone, that they have some people that care about them. There's some scary stuff that goes on here. Sometimes there will be fights and molestations, various kinds of things like that. So we are there to help minister to those inmates that have experienced those kind of things and to bring reassurance to them and peace in their lives as well.
I was also an inmate in the local Allen County Jail. Today I'm Chaplain Donnie Foster due to changes that were made, and more importantly, changes that were invested in me when I stood downstairs in A Block. Old A Block was a horrible place for me to even think about being, and I was in the process of being shipped back to the state of Oregon facing 104 years, but God, through Elijah Harris, who was brand new to this ministry here in the jail, and Dick Severs, they both prayed over me. And they gave me a peace that surpassed it all understanding. I was able to go into the system realizing that no matter if I was inside the walls or outside the walls, God was the same. He came in and he took my hard heart and my soft skin and he changed it to a soft heart and tough skin.
Well, I take this opportunity to thank you, Dick, and thank you for everything you've done, the hard work that you've put into this. I've never made any bones about the fact that there are people, unfortunately, in my jail that don't need to be there. It's a traumatic situation for them and their families, and I think one comforting thing about it is the jail ministry and the many volunteers that put in many, many hours to comfort those people and be a liaison, if you will, between the Sheriff's Department or the court system and the family.
One of the misconceptions that many people have is that the jail chaplaincy is funded through the Allen County Jail and government. Funding comes through individuals, churches, and sometimes corporations and grants. And so we're always working to raise funds to be able to be here. Some people have to raise money to get out of jail, but our job is to raise money to be able to stay in jail, to be able to bring God's love and grace to those people who come through here every day. So your help in keeping us supported is very needed and appreciated. And if you're interested in helping us, please contact us at the jail.